So yesterday's session we're understanding about like working with a section rule. So section is a rule which is to be created under user interface category. So after I creating a section, there we understood section can be designed in two modes. Okay, what are those two modes? Quickly tell me. Come on. What are the
Layout
modes
and
of
template.
designing section? Layout mode and
Layout and template.
template, right? Yeah. So layout mode is also called. What is the other
Full
name?
section editor.
It is like full section editor. Okay. So this template mode is something like recommended every time and which is introduced from version number 8. So in the past versions, every time we have to go with layout as the structure only. And this template is something like add-on or something like extra features compared to this layout mode. Now, no doubt we have to design our section with template mode only, but to understand what template is, you should first know what is a layout. That is the reason yesterday our section, we converted it into layout mode. And there we observed by default it is showing it as a dynamic layout. And in bracket we observed something as stacked, right? And it is showing with something number as 1. Okay, fine. So here, whenever I'm designing any particular section, no doubt any UI element, say it may be a property or maybe an image or a video, whatever it is, every UI element needs to be included in this layout only, cannot drop outside anywhere. So if I'm drag and dropping there, I observed every element is occupying 100% of its layout size. Why every element is occupying 100%? This layout is defined with some format. We call it as layout formats. So it is by default given with something called stacked as one format. So what do you mean by stacked? So something kind of sequence, right? Maybe one after another. That is the reason every element inside this dynamic layout will be stacked. Now my client requirement is to be like 2 in 1 row. Then in that scenario, no doubt you have to change the format of this layout. So there we observed few other options, right? Inline grid double. We observed something like inline grid triple. And even we observed something like quadruple. Okay, let me show you that. So this is our section. And double click on that, you'll see similar options like what double is, what triple is. And if my requirement is to go for 4 in 1 row, so I have to use this option, no doubt in it. Maybe if I submit it, I'll see every element occupying 25% each. So where few elements doesn't require that space also. So you can see a checkbox, right? So checkbox, does this really require width of what text box is having here? No. But still this is an UI element which should occupy 25% according to its layout settings. So this is no thing. Okay, fine. So till here, I think we understood yesterday, right? And maybe if I save and if I check for preview, there you'll get some window, right? And if you resize that window, okay, something to a mobile screen size or something like a tab size or maybe small laptop or bigger laptop, whatever it is, if you are resizing that particular window, there we observed every element is also being resized. Everywhere I am seeing first name as same 25%. So that is responsible. That is like because of responsiveness. Okay, RWD is what included in Pega by default from 7th version of Pega. So that is where you are seeing with a keyword called dynamic. Okay, and if you get a chance to look into past versions of Pega anytime, there you will not see dynamic as the keyword. You'll see something like normal layout or freeform layout or smart layouts. Okay, or list views, whatever. So those are not dynamic, those are not responsive. From 7th version, there is something like responsiveness being maintained. Okay. Now, if my client is asking me to show something like 5 in one row, so what option I have to select here? Come on, please guess and tell me. So if it is about triple, you have seen some straight away option. And if it is like double also, you got some option. Maybe quadruple also fine. Now, if it is like 5 in one row, or if it is about like 6 in one row, are you finding any ready-made option? Just say yes or no.
There's none.
Nothing, right? You
Yeah.
don't find any relevant option. Okay. So no doubt you're seeing some extra options, but this doesn't meet my client requirement in this case. So we have to display 5 elements in one row. So if there is nothing such option, will you say to your client that this is not possible? Okay, it will be like very simple requirement, right? Ideally. Okay, you might not see some options available, but still you should be in a position to achieve this. Okay, so for that, where and how to create my own formats. So here I can see all the layout formats available, right? So I have to create my own format. Where and how? So can I make it like 6 equal sized in one row? Or can I make it like 7 in one row or 8 in one row? Or sometimes requirements will be about showing like 2 elements only, but 20 percentage and 80 percentage. As of now, 2 elements ante, so you can use this, but everything occupies 50 percentage each. Now I want two in one row. First element 25 percentage, next element 75 percentage. So how to create my own formats? So this is what you have to take it as a separate session. We'll take it as a separate session. So for that, where exactly we have to make modifications అనేదైతే, so there is a rule called skin. So try to remember this rule name for now. So later there will be a very big discussion on what skin rule is and how to add your own styles to Pega. So for an Pega application, any type of styles, it's not just about dynamic layout styles. Today we are just understanding what dynamic layout is, right? So maybe in future you'll come to know some styles related to a text box. So as of now, text box I can see, which is something with background color as white, and its border maybe like 1 pixel gray color, and maybe whatever I type, it is like maybe black or gray color. Okay, maybe if I type something as this, I'm supposed to get an error message which should be in red color. Okay, so I'm seeing some output, right? I'm seeing some styles which are predefined. But today, my client, what he might ask is, I want first name as a text box where its background color must be like gray, and font color, meaning whatever we type, it must be in blue color. And whatever I type, it must be automatically corrected to uppercase. So if it is like auto correction, what is that concept I told you? Maybe if I'm entering something, if it is supposed to throw an error, we call it as edit validate. Am I correct? That's right. Please unmute and talk. So if it is about throwing an error, what is that concept? We call it an validation, and particularly here, as I told you, it is edit validate. Maybe after I typing something, it is not throwing error, it is correcting itself. What is this concept called? Chapali, Sudhir, come on. What is
Auto
this?
correction.
Edit input, right? I told you
Edit.
input. So edit validate and edit input. So I already gave you one line of difference earlier, but slowly you'll come to know how to work on all these things more practically. Okay. So today, in terms of stylings, my client might ask how an text box should be, maybe how an radio button should be, how an drop down should be, how my overall harness should be. I used a word harness also earlier, right? So it's something like bigger UI. Okay, we'll take it as separate session. So how an harness should be, how an portal should be. So how these image sizes should be, everything. So in terms of styling part, if you wanted to take care of anything about styling in Pega, so we are supposed to work on a very big rule called skin rule. Okay, so later you'll come to know how to open the existing skin rule, how to check for the available formats. As of now, for a particular dynamic layout, I can see few things are listing out, meaning few formats are already being maintained as OOTB. From where are we getting? No doubt it must be defined somewhere. From there, I should get it, right? I have to go to this respect to root cause and then add my own formats. No doubt those must be listed out here. So that is nothing but skin rule. So in skin rule, you should know how to check for the existing formats. Suppose if I see this option, if I'm using this option, if I click on submit, I'll see UI is like little changing, right? So I'm okay with this, but I want
Do
a
you
very
mean,
small change on top of it. Okay, I don't want
did,
to completely create the new one. I wanted to make a very small change. So again, go for a skin rule and look for the existing format and check for existing styles, and there you can modify it also. So how to modify the existing formats and how to create the new formats, and if required, how to delete the existing things in terms of dynamic layouts or in terms of text boxes or in terms of smart tooltips or smart infos or portals or harnesses, everything related to styling you should clearly know as part of our skin role. Okay, I'll explain everything more clearly, but for today, just remember that the rule name is skin rule. So again, which is to be created under something called user interface category. Something about UI kada. So which is to be maintained under UI category. Okay. So if it is about creating a skin rule, this is the navigation. But there is already a skin rule available, meaning there are already some formats showing out, right? So what is like existing skin rule and within which what are the formats, how to open the existing one. So this also will come. Okay. So what is it? I think Sudhir, you're trying to ask.
does this, yeah, does this work like, themes on our phone, themes on our, you know, laptops or computers, Chandra? So, I mean, can we imagine that way?
Separate concept too. So if we use a word called theme today, it is having different meaning in terms of constellation. Okay, so
Okay.
maybe in your mobile, you'll be using different themes. Suppose if I select theme one, so all the text box colors will be in one way changing out. Maybe background colors will be somewhere changing out. So that is generally called it as a theme. So in 24th or maybe from 23 or 24 version, so there is separate thing called theme introduced. But in the past versions, meaning but in the current version, what you're learning today, so there is no word called theme. We have to use it as a skin. And to answer your question, skin and theme both are different. So theme is something like dynamic changes, right? Where however I wanted, maybe like dark theme or lighter theme or something like whatever the theme possible, it can be directly changed by the real user in the real time. So in your laptop, you are the real user, right? So you can change however you want. But consider I'm like Windows developer అనుకోండి, designing your operating system. I can, Mhm. Okay, so you can see something like taskbar size. Am I correct? Below you can see one taskbar. So can you
Right.
make this taskbar size to reduce to 80%? Can you do it on your own? You tell me. No, right?
Uh, we
No,
don't, we cannot.
no. So in my comparison, what I'm saying is this is part of skin rule. Now this taskbar color, something like overall color, maybe dark to light or light to dark. These things is what you can do. Theme meaning what a real user can make changes. Skin rule meaning applicational related what you as an user cannot make there. Got my point?
Maybe, yeah, I think I understood it now, but then
Fully.
when we look at a real example, that's when
Fully counted.
we
Yep.
understood it better. Yeah.
So for now, we are understanding just a word called skin rule. Okay. So now if my requirement is to something like 3 by 3 or 4 by 4, I see some ready-made options. And that too, yesterday, I asked you to explore for some existing options, right? So did everyone try these options? So what will happen if I select the stack now? Every element 100%, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What will happen if I select like default?
100%.
Same 100%, right? Then what is the difference between these two? There must be difference, right? What is the difference between these two? So you should observe difference as extra spacing is like increasing. So try to observe that. So if we are using maybe stacked, so between elements, size will be more, little more. So sometimes my client will ask me above text box and below text box, size must be more. Or for a particular text box, right side space must be more. Or something margin top must be more. Padding left must be more. So if that is the scenario, you can go to skin rule, check for the existing format, whatever the predefined spacing size, you can increase according to that. Okay, if you go for inline, everything in a single line according to your screen size. Now I'll select this. I'll click on submit. You can see every single line, right? But don't think like all the elements must be in the single line depending upon the screen size. Suppose if I check for preview, now I can see few elements are showing in line 2. Now if I still increase my screen size, you can see it is accommodating in one single line, right? If I still reduce, it will show everything as 1 billion other also sometimes. So consider this as my mobile phone. So I can see maybe 1 billion other or 2 by 2. So according to my screen size, so here every element size is expanding or shrinking, but it cannot shrink less than some fixed width. So you can see first name, right? So I can see it is shrinking out. Maybe if I'm still trying to reduce, it cannot shrink less than its fixed minimum. Okay. So based on the requirement, you should use the respective format and then achieve the requirement. Now, with this knowledge, from today, you will be sharing. Just give me 1 second. So with this practical understanding, you will be shared with assignments from today. So in your portal, we'll add you one folder related to assignments. Daily assignments will be the folder name, and within which you will be added with different videos. So the very first video might be related to one assignment on today's discussion, and second video related to that third. So likewise, for every day, what are all the practical topics we are learning, you'll be shared with some assignment videos. Okay, so now let me explain you maybe few assignments what you get there, so that you'll be having like little accustomed initially, and slowly you'll come to know how to work on all these things as a pro. Okay, now I want you to work on a section where I wanted to show two in one row. Just to tell me, is it very easy or not? That's right. That's right. I wanted to
Yes,
show just hardly two elements in one row. Can't you do this? Very simple, right? Okay. Now, if my requirement is to show maybe three in one row, these are not your actual assignments. I'm just making you to learn some new concept, nothing much in between. So if your requirement is to show just three in one row, can't you try this? That's right.
possible. Yeah,
Possible. Now, if my requirement is to go for two in one row and below which three in one row, what you'll do for this? This is also not your assignment. After which, after this, what I'll talk about, those will be your assignments. Okay, for now, I'm just asking you something like two in one row, below which three in one row, how to do this task. Come on. So I already opened my section. Now my requirement is to show something like 2 by 2. Consider I'm deleting everything. Okay, my dynamic layout is just empty now. So I have to show 2 by 2 and 3 by 3. What is the format I have to choose? Chapandi?
You can take another dynamic layout.
Another dynamic layout. What you'll do with this existing one? So existing one, I have something as default, right? So Can I straight away proceed with this? Consider I have a property like first name.
Maybe possible. We
What
need
is the
to.
layout? What is the layout format? First, answer me that. Is it okay with the default, or
I
should you
don't think so.
require change
Default
to double?
default works. Uh, Maybe quadruple should work is what I'm assuming.
So if you take it as quadruple, every element, how much percentage? 25. So which is not at all correct in this requirement. Okay, so what you have to observe is, consider I have property 1. Property 2, consider first name, last name, maybe age, mobile number, and gender, whatever it is. So I created all 5 properties. Now the problem is I wanted to include this into my section, and I want P1 as 50%, P2 50%, this one maybe 33, 33, and 33. Now if I'm drag and dropping inside a layout of a section, no doubt I want this to be as 50% and it must be changed to double, right? How to get 50% as per our current knowledge? It must be double. Now let me drag and drop into this one. No doubt it will take 50% only. Now you include one more thing, or same thing for one more time, just for understanding. So I can see 2 elements occupying 50% each. Now if I'm supposed to include the third element, maybe in the same dynamic layout, it will equally occupy 50%, which is not correct. So for that, just for the sake of third one, if I'm changing the dynamic layout format to something like triple, then first 2 elements also will be affected, which is again not correct. So in this scenario, I'm supposed to take one more dynamic layout. Okay, so in a particular section, I can see few elements behavior as one way, maybe few other elements in different way. So in that scenario, I cannot achieve with one layout. You are supposed to go for multiple layouts. For that, you have to follow this navigational called structural. So under structural, you will see all the possible layouts. So far, you know what is a dynamic layout, right? Let's proceed with the same. Drag and drop dynamic layout, which should be outside the main one. Maybe if we are dropping this inside this one, according to the main layout settings, everything, meaning including this child layout also, will take 50%, which is not correct. Now, I'll be just drag and dropping dynamic layout, which is outside the main one. Now it should show number as 2. So here we are seeing some number, right? Number is nothing but a sequence. Okay, so now you can see number as 2. And now by default, its format is default. Now you can double click on this and then you can change the format to something like triple. Now whatever you are drag and dropping, it must occupy 33%. Am I correct? Okay, is this not your
Yeah.
requirement? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Now, if
Yeah.
you save and check for the output, no doubt this will be 50%, this will be 50, 33, 33, 33. And remember, in your output, you will not see anything about layouts. Suppose if I save it, and if I just check for preview, are you seeing anything like layout number 1 or layout number 2 or dynamic or stacked? Nothing, right? So output low, you will be just seeing your UI elements. And these dynamic layouts or in future, whatever the templates we come across, that is for our development standards only, not for the real users. Okay, fine. Now, why layouts are not encouraged, that also I'll give you as like one line of statement now. So consider I wanted to show it in this way, meaning A, B, C, D and code. 4 elements and everything has 50%. So someone please quickly tell me how to do that. What is the dynamic layout I have to use now? What is the
Default
dynamic
one.
layout? Huh?
Dynamic layout should be
Yeah. So
the
if I
default
get
one.
this requirement, consider I'm the client. So I'm just giving you this requirement. So in this process, developer 1 might do it in taking a new dynamic layout, which is as double. because every element, how much percentage? 50 kada. So he will include element 1, element 2, element 3, and element 4. So this is double and it will be number as 1, as this is like first one or only one, it will be 1. So no doubt, if I just check for the output, I'll see the same. I'll not see any dynamic layouts, right? Now the same requirement developer 2, how he can achieve is, he might take one dynamic layout, he will make it as double and it will be number 1. He can include element 1 and element 2. He might take one more dynamic layout and again he can make it as double number 2 and maybe third element and fourth element. So if developer 1 and developer 2 are running, they both will get same output. Am I correct? Are they not getting same output? Yes or no? Will they
Yeah,
get
that's
same
correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Obviously, both the developers will get same output. But developer 1 has followed some best practices in reducing layouts count. Developer 2 is not designing. So if a requirement is much complicated, when I say complicated, let me show you some assignments what you'll get today. Where it is, where it is. Okay, so let me show you one PDF document. So you'll get these as the assignments today. So task number 1. So you can see something like 3 in 1 row. First one is 50% and next two. And this is your task 2, maybe task 3, task 4, task 5. You can see task number 7 as little complicated, right? Can you see this task number 7? I want a screen to show 8 in 1 row, maybe in this as the output design. So if this is the task given for you, maybe person 1 can follow with 4 layouts. Person 2 maybe with 8 layouts. Person 3 maybe 10 layouts. Person 4 25 layouts. Every one of us might get the same output, but internal logical thinking, internal dynamic layouts count might be purely different. So if that is the design, no doubt performance will be disturbed, right? Am I correct? So as I told you, layouts are entertained. Sorry, I'm sorry. Templates are entertained compared to layout. This is one of the drawbacks what we are learning today itself. Clear with what I'm saying, right? Every one of you? అర్థమవుతుందా?
Yeah.
Okay. So now today you are supposed to work on all these tasks. So now let's discuss about like how to do the task 1 or how to do the task 2 and other things. So no doubt for today's sake or maybe for this period of training phase, you should not think about like best practice. You should think about whether you got output or not. For that you can think in different channels or different structures. Since you are in the early stage, since you are in the learning phase, you should majorly think about getting the output. Okay, so don't think like whether this is best practice or not. So straight away struggle hard in getting an output, and then whenever I'm evaluating you, there I'll just correct you the best practices where to be following. Okay, so now if my task is something about like this. Okay, can you guys do this task? Tell me.
Yes.
Easy.
4 layouts, three different layouts, one with double, one with triple,
One with quad.
and yeah.
Pretty simple, right? Okay. Now with this knowledge, I want you to work on this task. That is, if this is a screen, can you achieve this task? That is what the
Yeah.
first. Okay, second task what that is. So tell me, can you try doing this requirement?
Yes.
Just pause.
How? Okay, so if
See
this
you.
section, okay, if this is like section, I have only one dynamic layout. Now you tell me what is the layout I have to take.
Triple layout.
Triple. Okay, so if you take triple, element A, element B, element C. As per the diagram, element A, how much percentage? Correct, right? 50, 25, 25. Now, if you take triple, element A should take 33%. Correct? Huh?
Ideally, triple is 33 for each.
Correct. But I want first one to be as 50%, right? How can you achieve it?
We can take within dynamic layout.
Okay, so now you guide me from here. So I'm having something like dynamic layout as default. So correct me or guide me from here. What I
Yeah,
have. So I have
double click
the
on,
format to double. Okay, great. I'm changing this to double. Okay, next I can include one element, right?
yes,
Okay, let me take something like first name. So you can see first thing occupying 50%. Okay, and 50% done. Okay, next what?
take another dynamic layout in that same dynamic.
Next, what I have to do is, so in the same layout, I wanted to show two other things, meaning in the remaining space, I wanted to again divide into two equal pieces. Okay, so for that, just to divide a space into something, then I have to go for a layout. So what I have to do is I have to take one more dynamic layout inside this one. You know, this main layout will make everything occupied as per its format. So this is 50%, even this also has 50%. Now, if I'm trying to change this number, you can observe the numbers, right? So it is 1. And if you include a layout outside this, it will be as 2. Maybe outside that has the number 3. And if it is inside, I think 1.1. Maybe if you're having layout to 2, inside if you drop any other layout, 2.1, maybe 2.2 in this way. Now you can double click on this one and again change this to double. Then every element inside this 1.1 also should be 50% of its size. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so now if we just save and check for the output, will you not get the same? Obviously, yes. Correct now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you guys are clear about with task 2. So how to do task 1 now?
Same thing. We'll get two layouts.
So how to do task 1 and so I can clearly see this screen. Consider this as my whole screen. This screen is divided into two pieces. Am I correct? Two equal size. So something 50% left side, 50% right side. So straight away go for dynamic layout double. That is what I have taken. Now I should see and text field occupying 50%. Okay, this is also fine. And in the remaining 50%, I'll see something like one below another. So for that, if we can change this to something like stacked or default, you know, stack is something which is making one below another of that layout only. If I save it, will I not get the same output? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Correct, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Okay, so can you do task number 3? Can you try this task number 3? Let me show you here. Okay, this is my task 3. So say this has 50%. Okay, now tell me, can you try this? Can't you try this task?
Yes,
Easy, kada? That's right.
The first one is okay. And yeah, thinking about the
Okay, so
other three.
screen is divided as two equal 50%. Overall screen. Okay, so if it is the scenario, can't you take one dynamic layout as
Oh
double?
yeah.
So can't you make first element directly drop down?
Yes.
Kada? And
And then
50%, how you want every element? So in the remaining 50%, I want something like 3 equal sized. So
yeah, arranging three in other 50%.
okay,
That's it.
can't
Yeah.
you add one more, whatever the drop down or text field? Sorry.
Maybe each.
Okay, that's fine. So understood, right? So you should
Yeah.
do this task also. Okay, now consider doing this requirement. Okay. So can you work on working of this requirement? 6
Yeah.
equally in one row.
Two sections, 1 and 1.1. Making them triple. Making them triple.
So
Two
earlier,
triples.
we observed that there is no inline related to 6. So we thought it must be done via skin rule. Am I correct? So you hardly got an option like inline quadruple only, no? Something about like 5, I think. You did not find any option. Something about like 6 elements in one row. You did not find any option. So there we concluded it must be done via skill rule. But without the skill rule, you are actually getting the solution. So how to achieve 6 equal one row? And can't you take one dynamic layout and make it as double? Yes, right. Inside which can't you take one more dynamic layout? Can't you make it as triple? And one more dynamic layout, its number will be 1.2. Can't you make it as triple? Will you not get the output? That's right.
Yes.
Okay. So can you achieve something like 8 in one row? 8 in one row. Can you try this? Can't you try this? Customer.
Yes.
Easy, right? Okay. So you should know working on any similar task. So today I'll share you this document. This is just for your understanding. So someone please tell me how to do this task number 6, or can you try this task number 6? You might not say it right away, but if you are given with 1 day time, so are you seeing any confidence of doing task number 6? Yes,
It
right?
is possible.
Possible, right? Okay. What about task number 7? How to achieve this task 7, Prashant? You tell me.
Yeah, we can take 3 dynamics layouts.
Okay. Guide me completely from here. Let me do this. Okay, guide me. So I have a section. So consider I'm having everything as empty. Okay, now tell me. So what is the main layout format? Anyone else?
Yeah, we can take main layout format is that quadral.
No, the first one is quadruple, right?
Yes.
Quadruple. What do you mean by quadruple? 4 equal
4.
sized. Are you seeing 4 equal sized anywhere? Are you seeing this as 4 equal sized? If this is my output. Okay, as I told you, Pega the complete logically. Okay, so if this is my screen size, so say this as 100%. So can you see 4 equal sized in one row? Not exactly, right?
No.
Not exactly. So what you can try is, you can observe left side and right side are equally divided. Elements might not be same, but you can observe this is something equally divided. Am I correct?
Yes.
That's right. So can't you take something as double? Yes, right. You can take something as double.
Double. Yeah.
The first thing I can see 4 spaces. So you take one more dynamic layout, and no doubt you have to make this as quadruple now. Am I correct? You have to make
Yes.
this as quadruple. Submitted. Now what you can do is maybe drag and drop something like first name, and you can copy paste it. Select that, go for Control C and then Control V. Again select this, Control C, Control V. So you can see 4 in one row as of now. Next, what I wanted. So right side, I can see something, this one and this one and this one arranging one below another. So if
Correct.
something to be arranging one below another, so no doubt you have to take one more dynamic layout. It might be either default or stacked. Now, if you drop anything inside this, it will show one below another. But now I wanted to internally make 4 horizontal, 4 equal sized horizontal. Again, I have to take one more dynamic layout, which is as 1.2.1. Double click on this and make this as quadruple. Make this as quadruple and try to include maybe elements again. Hope you guys are understanding. Am I correct? That's right.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
you're copying the properties, can't you copy those sections, dynamic layouts, copy and paste?
We can. So it might be like little confusion for you. That is where I did not tell you. But here, if you wanted to do it, what you'll do is I am deleting this one, right? So what I can do is I can right click on this 1.1. I'm copying it. So maybe you can right click on somewhere, you'll get an option like paste below, but unfortunately it is like pasted as 1.3. You can click on this dot, you can mouse around the dot and then drag inside to this. So you got the same output, correct? That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So I thought this will be like little confusion for you initially. That is where I did not talk about like layout copy pasting. Okay.
Which is fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So now what I wanted is this part is
So the
complete.
parent section on the right side, the parent section became the stacked layout in which you are trying
This
to
one is
arrange.
like default or stacked, whatever it might be. So whatever you drop in 1.2, it should show one below another. Am I correct? That's
Correct.
right.
Yeah.
Whatever you
If it is
drop
default
in
or stacked.
yeah. So it should show one below another. What I'll take is I'll take one more dynamic layout and it should be as 1.2. Okay. This is your parent. This is its child one. This is its child two. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm trying to take one more dynamic layout, which must be as 1.2.3. So what I'm trying to do, so I can see total three things. So or three parts, consider part A, part B, part C. Three parts, one below another. So if it is like one text box here, one text box here, one text box here, doesn't matter. I need not go for parts internally. I can straight away drag and drop text box for three times. But here I can see part one, below which part 2, below which part 3. That is where I am trying to take three dynamic layouts. Now part 1 is internally having 4 in one row. So that is where I divide it as quadruple. Now part 2. So what I have to do? Again quadruple. So I can double click on this. Again I can change this to something or say triple or double and just an example. Say double. Okay, and part 3, say it as triple.
The way you sized these three properties are not of similar size from what I see in the screenshot.
No, that's fair. So here I can see 4 in one row, right? So the above part is also 4 in one row, below part is also 4 in one row. Maybe I just change this to double. Okay, that's it, just for the differentiation. So if you wanted to be this also as quadruple, the same, right? You might not see much difference between first and second one. Are you not getting the same output now? Tell me.
No. Yeah, I understood. But then the C item on your screenshot looks a little different, right? So the size of those three items are not
Let's compare this
identical.
task 7 and this one. Both are same, right? Where exactly are you seeing the difference? No difference at all. Okay.
Oh, okay. No. I got confused. Sorry.
Okay.
It's quadruple and triple, right? So that's why we're seeing that difference.
Okay. So every one of you understood, right? So maybe if your section. So I'm making you to understand complicated part today itself. Okay. Slowly when we are working on the projects, whatever I already shared you. So you're already shared with an document and videos for those, right? Extra projects. Okay. So I'll explain you where and how to start that also. So today it is expected you to watch the whole document, whatever I give, and watch the whole video for that project. And future, maybe in the next 2 to 3 days, I'll explain you how to start that project. I'll take mostly once in 2 weeks on Friday about project explanation. So where exactly you have to start the project and what are all the things you have to initially create and where to create and other things on a high level. I'll take a detailed session once in 2 weeks. And after that session, there will be project review on the next Saturdays. Okay, so say today is Friday, and I'll show you that project and I'll explain you what you have to do in screen 1, maybe screen 2, screen 3, and we'll discuss in detail about whatever the doubts you are having also related to project. Maybe the next Friday, there will be like 1-to-1 project reviews happen. So you guys should show, or you guys should work practically in your laptop, maybe on the second or third or fourth project what you are given with, and you are supposed to show your screen. Okay, so screen share sessions will be there. You are supposed to share your screen and show what percentage you have done for project review 1, project review 2, project review 3. So likewise, 8 project reviews is what we'll get, and you guys should, every of you will be given with some time schedule. You are supposed to call during that time, and then you are supposed to share your screen and show the complete progress. So there we'll try to check whether you are following best practices or not. Maybe if you are having any doubts or if you got stuck up somewhere in doing that, so no doubt you can happily feel free to discuss during that time. But my suggestion is to get everything clear during the class session, and you should be in a position to do the project, or you should be in a position to show some progress on that project for the next review. Okay, so this I'll explain you in tomorrow's session. So tomorrow I'll show you how to start it. But for today, you'll be shared with some assignments. So these are like few assignments on section. And apart from this, maybe 4 other complicated and equally complicated, like task 7 or 6, whatever. So you'll be shared into your portal also. Now look at this last one. Can you guys try this task 8? Can you guys try this task 8? Come on.
Yes.
Go back to
You can try
go
this.
back to the we can do it. Yeah, we can do it.
You need not get confused by looking at it right away. So maybe you should get at least some confidence in doing it for tomorrow. That is what I expect today. Okay, now, so you just try to do these tasks maybe by tomorrow's class, or if not, maybe you take some more days time. But make sure you reach me personally if you have any type of doubt. Provided you should first listen to the class carefully. So maybe if you are not listening to the class carefully, maybe if you haven't completely understood today's class, then working on assignments might be a little challenge for you. So whatever the recording sharing being shared to you, you are supposed to watch that maybe couple of times, and then you should learn everything whatever I clearly explain you. Then you can feel free to call me for any type of doubt related to class discussion, or maybe like assignments, or maybe like projects. I'll be very happy to help you personally also. Okay, even I'll be happy to take your screen share and look for the doubts or somewhere where you stuck out also. But I want you to seriously work on every practical thing, whatever I give you. So you will not be shared with these type of assignments or extra material generally anywhere. So, okay, so you are supposed to properly utilize everything what we're giving. So I expect you to complete task 1 till task 8 mostly by today, and extra 4 to 5 assignments on section design will be shared with you, and you are supposed to be master in any type of section design using a layout. We are still at layout, right? Okay, so to how to achieve the same requirement with the template is what you'll come to know, and how to achieve the same requirement with the views in Constellation also you'll come to know. Since 90% projects are still running on Theme Cosmos, you should be equally master in this whole discussion also. Okay, so this is what I expect. Fine. So finally,
Can we do it? Can we do it today,
which one?
Chandra?
Which one?
The task 8.
Task 8. Okay. So tell me where exactly the
I
problem.
mean, in the interest of everybody here,
That's
I mean,
that's
so I just thought, why don't we cover it here?
Yeah, yeah. So we can just understand this screen is divided into 2 pieces, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what is the main layout I have to use now? Can't you go for layout, the double?
Yeah, double. Yes.
And
And then
the
you
first
internally take
portion,
another.
so yeah, the first portion we can observe it as 3 equally divided. Now I have to take one more dynamic layout, which will be as
Right.
number 1.1. And no doubt I wanted to make this as what? Or
Triple.
let me show you in some systematic way. So first I can see screen divided into two pieces, right? I'm making it as double. Then internally, okay, left side part, I made it as something like, okay, internally I have to make it as triple, right?
Yeah.
Triple. So whatever you drop in this, so it should occupy, just give me 1 second, just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm really sorry. I got an important call. So guys, they're right.
We were here.
Okay. So continuing on this, what is our actual requirement now? So something like 3 in 1 row, right? So I'm making this as triple, and I can make this text box included here, right? So we can see something like 50% and internally 3 in 1 row. And next, what we wanted, we can see everything like one below another. So for that, we have to take one more dynamic layout and you keep it as default or stat. Now, again, part 1 is about just a normal text box, right? So I can drag and drop it. Internal dynamic layout is not required in this case. Part 1, say part 1 is just a single element. What about part 2? This is also a single element, right? And what about part 3? Part 3, I can see something like 3 horizontal. For
Yeah,
that,
you need to call
you have to
this.
go for one more dynamic layout and you have to change this to something like triple. Am I correct?
Or you can copy paste 1.1 as well.
Yeah, yes, yes. Okay, and then you have to take one more field, direct field, and include something outside that. Make sure it must be available under 1.2, not 1.2.1. So you can just drag and drop outside this one, and maybe you can rearrange something like top to bottom or bottom to top. Okay, you can just shuffle. So in this way, you have to achieve your output. Got it right? Everyone
Yes,
okay?
Chandra. Thank you.
Okay, so what are the extra assignments you are getting it today? Try to understand it more logically and achieve the output so that your logical skills will be built up in Pega. Okay, this is just an introduction. So in future, when we talk about any particular topic like an activity or data page or report definition, so logical thinking will be 100 times more compared to this one, not 100 times, minimum 10 times more compared to this. So don't think the section design alone is difficult. So future rules will be more difficult to analyze, more difficult to think logically. So if you are following whatever I'm giving you strictly, no doubt you'll land in very good position. So don't think something as more difficult. Don't look something like far away. So you just make short-term goals every day. So today my requirement is to complete these 8 tasks. Okay, my requirement is to complete extra 4 assignments. So tomorrow my requirement is to, or my goal is to complete the video and its practical and extra assignments. So you try to go for short-term goal for daily basis, and no doubt you will not be getting panic about the future related tasks, and I'll make you to learn everything more easily and smoothly. That's my guarantee. And provided you have to equally work hard with me. Okay, so we'll continue project part also tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll explain it. And advise you to watch the videos and come. So you are given with insurance project video and maybe like healthcare project video, right? So you just watch at least the video and come so that you'll come to know whatever I'm talking more clearly also. Okay, we'll continue to. Clear it? Any questions, any doubts for today? Clear, Andhra?
Think, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.